for coming back to part two of Spotlight on Thomas the Villain Bishop. We're going to look at another video of his, and we're going to listen to it in its entirety. Again, once again, shout out to you, Mr. Bishop. We're going to listen to what he's got to say, and then we're going to comment on it. So let's cue it up and let's get right into it.
This. We're showing our adversaries we're weak. All we got to do is go back and look at Joe Biden's what he's done to our military with the woke ideas, with the CRT that we're teaching in our military. We are losing in the military so fast. Our readiness in terms of recruitment. And why?
I said entirety. I can't do it. We're gonna interject with this and react to this in real time and discuss it in real time because it's too fucking crazy. You show me right off the bat where in the military or any place for that matter that you get taught CRT. CRT, keeping in mind, is a college-level curriculum taught primarily in law school that deals with how race factors into the criminal justice system. That's it in a nutshell. Where is that being taught in the military? What does it have to do with killing people? Because, let's face it, military, you're taught to kill people. That's the primary function of a soldier. To kill people. Where's it being taught? I don't see it being taught in any curriculum in the public school system, K through 12. If you don't subscribe to law school, you're not going to learn about CRT. But it's a great talking point because people are scared of it, yet they don't know what it means. I don't think it means what you think it means. Ask somebody what critical race theory is. You get a whole bunch of different answers, and none of them will be truthful. And even the ones that are truthful, which would be about 1 in 20, 1 in 30, 1 in 40, then ask, why are you afraid of a topic that doesn't come up in everyday conversation? And hilarity will ensue because you get answers all over the place. If you get an answer at all. And it's affecting recruitment. No, it's not. Because they don't ask that question in regards to recruitment. My brother was a recruiter in the Army. Do you think they talked about critical race theory and wokeness? No. They talked about a rewarding career in the military, whether it's Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, or Space Force. Don't get me started about that, because Space Force is a cosmic joke. But it's all about careers. And critical race theory and wokeness has very little, if anything, to do with career trajectory. Wokeness might. Keep your head on a swivel. Be mindful of your surroundings. Know who you're dealing with and act accordingly. Excuse me. That's what critical race theory teaches us. And it only teaches us this if you're black or if you're, okay, if you are a minority. Black specifically, but a minority in general. And it, in critical race theory, doesn't factor into that discussion at all. Because if you're a criminal, you won't be in the military. Let's get back to it. Oh boy.
And why? I can tell you why. Because the Democrats are attacking our military, saying we need to get out the white extremists, the white nationalists, people that don't believe in our agenda as Joe Biden agenda.
This man's talking out the side of his neck. Let's get out the white supremacists, people that don't agree with Joe Biden. Did he just say that shit out loud? Did he just say that shit out loud? Yes, he did. Why? Because that's what he feels. He's just saying what all those supposed white supremacists, they want to say, but won't say it. And even then, that's not true because they're saying it more and more. They've been empowered by the former president. A serial liar. An alleged pedophile. An accused rapist. A grapist. This is who you get your marching orders from. This is your king. A man who is morally bankrupt. And you can say what you want. You can say what you want about him. I don't care. Just don't bring him over here. Don't spout off his nonsense like it's gospel and expect everyone to fall in line and agree with it. Because they're not. If you have two brain cells to rub together, you know it's wrong. They've even said that behind the scenes, people were wondering what the hell's going on. There's no way. But outside, they all told the company line. They don't believe what they're saying. Why the fuck should you? Are your brains that diminished? Do you think that little about the people that you put in power? The man could care less about anything but himself. He's proven that time and time and time again. This is your king?
They're destroying it. This year, we will not reach any recruiting goals in the military. So if we want to talk about looking weak, that's where we're going to look weak. We cannot.
We're not going to make any recruitment goals. I don't know. Maybe, just maybe, It might be because nobody wants to put up with that shit anymore. Maybe people just want to live. Maybe. I could be wrong. And if that's the case, what the fuck does that have to do with CRT and wokeness? In an ideal world, people would live and let live. In an ideal world, people could do what they want to do and deal with the consequences of it. But again, this isn't an ideal world, is it? So, if it's not an ideal world, and people are being called to task for beliefs and perceptions and opinions, then it is what it is. Opinions are like assholes. Everybody's got one. That's a truism like no other. Opinions are like assholes. Everybody's got one. Doesn't make it right. Reminds me of the famous quote: everyone is entitled to their own opinions, they're not entitled to their own facts. Here we go again.
Not start putting rules in there for one type, one group, and make.
Let me make this abundantly clear, and I have 3 points. Number one, a good football coach does not equal a good senator. Alabama, the only reason you elected Tommy Tuberville is because he used to coach for the Alabama football team.
And right there is everything that's wrong with America today. Man had no political experience whatsoever. He was known for coaching an Alabama football team, and that somehow equates him to becoming a good senator? The former president was known as the host of a talk show, a game show. And somehow that magically had him run for and successfully voted a president. Again, he wasn't even a dog catcher before that. Yet somehow it was seen fit to make him the highest post in the land. Unreal. Unfucking real.
Stop doing stupid shit like that. That man should be trying to figure out how to get a monkey to fuck a football rather than sitting here talking about anything involving CRT as a United States Senator. Number two, woke ideology and CRT in the military. Oh, do you mean like when Truman integrated it? Was Truman woke? I don't think he was. But he saw.
Was he woke? No. He simply realized that they're all fighting for a common cause. They might as well fight together. If we're all fighting for the same ideals, the same principles, the same values, we'd be better served by fighting together as opposed to fighting separately. That was at the core of integration. It made sense.
What every other general and every other military leader since then has seen. You have a diverse force fighting for both them to better themselves, better their families, and better the nation.
Isn't that what I just said? That's exactly what I said. Maybe not in so many words. But that's what that's the point I was trying to make. Maybe not as exact as he said it. But peel back the layers and the sentiment's the same.
And why in the name of all that is holy would you run from the history of said fucking military, both good and bad? You call it.
I can find no fault in his logic there. Those who ignore history are doomed to repeat it. I can't remember exactly who said that, but again, that is an uncomfortable truth. If you don't know what you did wrong, you're going to do it again and again and again and again. And once again, insanity is the act of doing the same thing over and over again while hoping for a different result. That is the textbook definition of insanity. People who don't learn from history are insane. It doesn't take much critical thinking to get your head around that. It doesn't take much thinking to understand that. Here's an analogy that everyone seems to understand about it. A child once goes to put his hand on the stove. The parent says, "Don't put your hand there. It's hot. You can get burnt." So he puts his hand there. It burns. Ah! This hurts. It burns. Oh, God. Okay, take care of it. Now you see it was hot. I told you don't put your hand there anymore. Now, a child will not put his hand there again because he knows the consequences of his actions. It's going to hurt. So he's not going to put his hand there anymore. Let's transpose that over to presidential elections. Let's go there for a minute. He's going to vote for someone who is not suited for the job at hand. Let's say leave it at that. They're not all there. And again, you have people out there saying, "Don't vote for him. He's going to steer you wrong. Your best interests are not at heart. Don't do it." People vote for anyway. They get screwed. 4 years of ineptitude, incompetence, and stupidity. And they say, I told you. I tried to tell you. Don't do it. It's going to end badly for you. And he runs again. He doesn't make it. And then he decides to run again. Insanity. Because this time it's going to be better. He's going to know what he did wrong, and he's going to strive to fix it. Miss me with that. Because the only thing he's going to do, and in learning from his mistakes, he's going to make sure that that what happened to him never happens again. And I'll tell you for nothing. He gets in, I got to go. And I'm not worried about whether he cares or not, because I'm less than nothing in his eyes. But again, do what you must. I'm going to do what I got to. Let's finish up.
CRT, and you call it being woke. I call it's been happening since before you were a football coach, Tommy. And thirdly, and more importantly, I don't give a fuck if they meet their standards, if it means keeping the domestic terrorist, white supremacist, white racists the fuck out of the military. You see, with that diverse force, that means you have people coming from all different backgrounds. The last thing in the world you want to have sitting inside of that fucking diverse force from all different backgrounds is a bunch of people who believe that some of the people that they work for are inferior to them. See, back when I served, that's exactly what I was taught. The only color we see is green. The only color that we fucking recognize is green. Everybody in there is green. Every person is a soldier, a sailor, an airman, a fucking coast guardman, a marine, a guardian, not a white supremacist. So if that means keeping said white supremacist domestic terrorists out of the fucking military, I don't give a fuck if they never meet their goddamn goals. Tommy. Actually.
Insanity. There's no other word for it. There's no other word for it. And you have a man who clearly is passionate about what he speaks. He's former military. Hats off to him for that. Because he did what I didn't want to do. I didn't want to fight. He wanted to. To each their own. He's proud of his service, as he should be. And he met lots of people. Different ethnicities, different races, creeds, colors, ideologies, even religions. And everyone there had one goal, and that was to serve and protect. They're the true purveyors of that phrase. To serve and protect. And where do they have the room for people who don't like others? In a melting pot as diverse as the United States military. Are they there? Yes. Oh, you betcha. You better believe they're there. Doesn't make it right. Doesn't make it fair. Doesn't make it just. Doesn't make it anything. Has the vetting process gotten better? Yes, it has. But it's fallible. It's done by humans. So it's going to be imperfect. There are going to be holes in the vetting process, and undesirables are going to fit or slip through. It is what it is. That doesn't mean that people like Thomas are going to actually sit there and let it happen. No, because they know what's been happening. That's not the armed forces that he joined, that he probably served in. This now goes out to Mr. Bishop. Keep doing what you're doing, brother. Keep doing it. People are going to talk. People are going to have differences of opinions. People are going to shame you. They're going to slam you. They're going to talk ill of you. They're going to do all that stuff. I say, don't sing it, bring it. And I'm sure you say the same thing. I'm sure of it. When everything is said and done at the end of the day, if you believe in such a thing, at the end of your days, when you're called and you're judged, of the many things that you could be judged harshly for, speaking truth to power definitely won't be one of them. You have a man, a United States Senator, someone who's been called on by the people to serve them, to keep their best interests in mind. You can have someone like that spouting rhetoric that's telling you we should allow white supremacists in the military. I say, what the fuck? Make it make sense. I am also going to ask Mr. Bishop to formally join the Villains Guild. Because if people in the guild are half as passionate about things that they feel about that you are, I think we'll fit in rather nicely. There's so much wrong in the world today. It's about time people started calling it out. Actively, passionately calling it out.